Shots. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Stella.
I was diagnosed with a hemorrhagic stroke 5 years ago.
And 2.5 years ago, I was diagnosed with a coarctation in the aorta. And along with that, I was also diagnosed with a bicuspid aortic valve.
So prior to my stroke, I was an active, healthy mother of two. I'm a full-time RN. I had woke up that morning with a headache, which is not completely abnormal for me. I have had migraines in the past. I work long hours. I'm chasing after two little kids. But it was a little different that day. I had a stabbing pain in my eye, my right eye. The headache lasted throughout the day despite anything that I took. I was cleaning my house and I bent down to do something and I stood up and I had this rushing pain up the back of my neck and up at the base of my skull. The pain within a few minutes was just about unbearable, and then I started kind of having some spasms in my base of my skull, and at that point I knew something wasn't right. I ended up going to the emergency room where I was then diagnosed with a subarachnoid hemorrhage, which is a type of a hemorrhagic stroke. I never, when I went, thought that that could be a possibility. You know, I'm a healthy, young, 30-something-year-old. So I was completely blindsided by that. I was in the ICU there for about 2 weeks, which then I came home and was out of work for about 4 months. It took me, I would say, close to a year before I felt like I was, as close as I was going to be to my normal self now. I was very lucky. I had minimal deficits as a result of my stroke, and I've been able to pretty much live a, rather happy, healthy life since then. My daughter Stella was diagnosed with 2 congenital heart defects when she was 7, which is kind of abnormal. They're usually caught when they're born. She was sick with a GI bug one day, and she had said to me that she felt like her heart was beating out of her chest, and I checked her heart rate and it was high, and she didn't look well. It just didn't sit right with me as a mom, so I called her pediatrician and we went in and they had found that she had a murmur that wasn't there before, and also they're having a hard time finding pulses in her legs. They were like really, really weak. So we went to a cardiologist that same day and they did an echo and worked her up, and they diagnosed her with a coarctation of her aorta, which is when your aorta is kind of narrowed off and your heart has to pump really hard to get the blood to go to the lower half of your body. And then also with a bicuspid aortic valve, where that happens when your valve doesn't open all the way to be able to allow blood to flow in and out. So she had open heart surgery in Rochester at Strong about 3 months later. They fixed her coarctation. Her valve abnormality right now is working, so she doesn't need to have that fixed, but it is something that she might have to have another surgery in the future. But right now she is healthy, she is active, she swims on her swim team, she's able to keep up with her brother, and she's doing great. We got hooked up with the Heart Association last year for the Heart Walk of 2019. I had never been involved or really knew anything much about it. When we got there, it was just so overwhelming. It was such a large event. It was in a great venue. There were so many people there. It was so inspiring. There were so many different types of survivors just like us. They asked us if we wanted to participate in the Heart Walk this year and be 2 of the Inspirational Honorees, and we felt really blessed to be asked to do that. So we've been on a great journey this year, and we've met some amazing people. We really want to thank all of our friends and family in our community that's donated to our Heart Walk this year for Stepping for Stella, and it's due to all of you guys that we're able to be around, and that they're raising awareness and funds and advancing in all the technology to help people like us.
And I would like to give a special thanks from the bottom of my heart as a heart warrior to all of the people who have donated to my team Stepping for Stella and just the Heart Association.
Thank you.
Thank you.